All right, so you're welcome to Vision Board Masterclass. Here we'll be designing your 2026 and beyond. As a matter of fact, my focus is to help us be able to craft and design your vision board for 2026. So we are looking at two types of vision board. The one for short term, which is just within a 12-month calendar. So we are having Vision 2026, and then we're going to be having Vision 2030. Now, why is that so important and so relevant to this conversation? Because we often, and I've made these mistakes myself before, we often overestimate what we can accomplish in 12 months, but underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years or even more, right? So there's a lot more you can accomplish if you're given time, but there's a lot less you can accomplish if you don't have much time. So in other words, 12 months is good, but it should set the foundation, it should set the tone for what will be happening over the next couple of years. And I'll be sharing with you practically. One of my friends reached out to me yesterday night and said he knows that this is what I've been doing and that he sees my phone, he sees he knows these things around me. And so he said, I'm not a theoretician on this matter. And so he himself is looking forward to it. Let me also mention here that this class was originally designed for members of my inner circle. And as we prepared for the new year, it just occurred to me that, and my team also agreed to it, that we should extend it to a lot more people. So this is more or less like my first fruit, and it's a gift. It's my New Year gift to you. You may also be wondering, who are the inner circle? Inner circle members are powerful people from different countries, different parts of the world. We have people from Germany, Sweden, UK, and in the US, and of course in Nigeria and Africa, who are members of that inner circle, who essentially hired me as their coach and consider me as their mentor, so to speak. So if you want to scale in business, you want to do well in career, in life, I've had my fair share of disasters, setbacks and all of that. And you don't know generals by their stars only, you know generals by their scars. And don't tell me you've learned anything until you have lost something. And I've lost different things in my life. And I'm grateful for the kind of person I've become as a result of those crises and challenges. And borrowing from that is what I share during my mentorship session. I'll be talking much about that later on. So this Vision Board Masterclass was originally designed for members of the inner circle members, but we've extended it to all of you who are not necessarily members of the inner circle. And for those of you who say, oh, I want you to be my mentor, I want you to be my coach. Well, this is your formal invitation to join the inner circle member. We'll talk about that later on. Now, Vision 2026 and Vision, I want you to write it down somewhere in your notes, Vision 2026 and Vision 2025, or Vision 2030, I beg your pardon. Vision 2026, Vision 2030. So you need to have two vision boards. So whatever it is you have already purchased is good enough to practice what we are going to teach, and it's good enough to at least design what your 2026 would look like. And then you can then borrow from the frameworks and the templates and the lessons we're going to share to design your 2030, your Vision 2030. I can guarantee you under God that if you follow this thing, it will produce significant results for you. All right, so a little bit about myself. My name is Oladipupo Clement. Like I said, I'm a trusted expert in real estate, wealth creation, business growth, and strategy with over 2 decades of business experience. I'm, I consider myself a sought-after conference speaker and an accomplished author of several books, including my bestseller, which is Financial Freedom Master Guide. If you don't have a copy of that book, you are missing out. Finding what works for you, rewrite your financial story just before you start that business. I champion the crusade for the economic emancipation of the average African through such platforms like Wealth Creation Summits and Mega Housing Summits. These are flagship conferences that we host every year twice a year. So the Global Wealth Creation Summit holds in May this year, and the Mega Housing Summit will hold in October later in the year. I currently serve as the CEO of LifePage in Nigeria and in the United States of America. I've also co-founded several other companies within the agriculture, construction, and software development sectors. I, hold an MBA from the prestigious Business School Netherlands. I've got several other certifications, and time won't permit me to go into all of that. Just in brief. Now, let's quickly lay the scriptural foundation. Now, by the way, I'm a Christian, and I believe in Jesus. And the Bible is the basis of all that I do, is what informs how I operate, how I deal and conduct myself with people. I don't deal and operate from my emotions or my feelings. That can be misleading. I deal and operate based on my faith, and my faith is premised on the Word of God. And what I want to share with you here right now is also premised from Scripture. So I want to lay a very quick scriptural foundation. So regardless of your faith, please let me have your attention. Let me have your attention here right now. In Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 32, Jesus gave a very powerful illustration and said, do you see anyone who is intending to build a tower, who will not first sit down and count the cost, lest after he has begun to build and is unable to finish, people begin to mock him? In other words, when you start something and you don't finish it, you become a subject of ridicule, you become a subject of mockery, right? So we see the importance of planning. We see how essential, how critical it is to set goals. We see the importance of intentionality, that you can't just live life to chance. Nothing happens, nothing just happens. Everything happens for a reason. Is the law. That's what we call the law of cause and effect. Everything happens for a reason, and nothing happens without a reason. In other words, you can decide to live life by managing it, or live life by creating it. And one of the principles that I personally have found is the principle of planning, goal setting, and vision casting, and all of that, vision boarding, which we are going to be looking at today in its entirety. In Genesis 11, we see also another critical case in point, where the old earth at the time were of one language, right? There was no Igbo, there was no Hausa, there was no German, there was no Jewish. Everybody had the same language. And they imagined to build a tower that will reach up to the heavens. And they only imagined it. There was unity of faith, there was unity of purpose, there was unity of spirit, and there was unity of commitment as well. And this was the first time the Godhead was ever threatened by its own creation. And God said, what these people have imagined to do, nothing will be able to restrain them. And so it shows you the power of imagination and the power of vision. The power of vision is often what leads to unity. So unity is born when there's shared vision, when there's shared imagination, where we align in values and we align in vision, we align in purpose. That's what usually happens. So when you see a leader who leads his team well, it starts with vision. It starts with, this is where we are going. And one of the greatest needs I've found to be in hot demand right now is the need for direction. People are confused. People are disillusioned. People are clueless in a lot of ways, and so people are searching and, hungry for direction, So if you want to lead in your generation, you have to be a man or woman of vision. And I guess the person who initiated or cast that vision was able to get people together, and God saw that the only way they could divide these people was to give them different languages. And that was what aborted that vision of building the Tower. It's called Tower of Babel in scriptures. For those of you who are Christians, you're familiar with that. If you go further into Genesis 12, and you see how God called Abraham, and God gave him an instruction and told him to leave his country, leave his kindred, and to a city that he will show him. God called him from the known. God called him from certainty and asked him, he said, to a place I will show you. God called him from known to the unknown. God called him from certainty to uncertainty. And he obeyed. He obeyed. That obedience, of course, came with uncertainty. I remember when we launched our business, There was no clue. We started by bootstrapping. We started our business by bootstrapping. No capital anywhere, no dime. There was no kobo anywhere. There was no no customer, no reputation. All we had was just share vision, share grit, share commitment, and all of that. So it is the journey of most great people, where you start from what is known and then you journey for what is unknown, and you take one step after the other, and then that's it. But one thing that happened was for Abraham was that as he followed God, God began to prosper him. But it came to a point where he began to question whether his wealth would be inherited by one of his servants. For those of you who follow the Bible in one year that we have, you will see we already covered that. And in order for God to be able to influence, because see, until you change, nothing changes. Until you change, nothing else changes. You are the most important critical success factor. That's why we say, I mean, literally all across the body of Christ, all across churches in Nigeria, for example, and across the globe, everybody's fasting, everybody's praying right now. But I always like to say to people that your fasting and prayer does not in any way make God less powerful or more powerful, right? God is all powerful with or without your fasting. Would does fasting help in the real sense of it? Your fasting really helps you. It helps you to see God differently, helps you to see the way God sees, it helps you to think the way God thinks. Because really, God is unlimited. God cannot be caged. God cannot be cornered. All right. God cannot be limited. God cannot be confined. He's unlimited. He's limitless. Right. He stepped out of eternity into time and then stepped back into eternity. So God is unlimited. And unfortunately, we have judged our God and the supply He has for us based on our limited environment, based on our limited space. And that has limited us. So God saw that that was the same challenge that Abraham was dealing with. So God had to paint pictures for him. And most of the things God painted as pictures for him didn't even come to realization until even until after he had long gone, until after he was already long gone. All right. God had to change his name from Abram to Abraham, right? Like I said in one of my videos that I posted to advertise this program, I said that when you think of a name, the name of a person, place, or thing, what pops up in your mind is the picture. It's not the spelling of that person. So Abraham means father of many nations. Now, this was a man who had no child, and was worried that who would be his heir, who would succeed him, and all of that. Would it be this servant in his household? And God had to paint a picture, and God had to change his name. And in changing his name, he was also painting a picture in his mind. And that's exactly what we are still doing right now, what we're going to be doing today. So God painted a picture for him, pictures as a matter of fact. He asked him to count the sand on the seashore and the stars in the sky. And God was simply showing him what his future would look like in images. Everything God showed him came to pass even long after he was gone. I'm sure you can relate with that. There was also another case of a great man called Jacob. Jacob is the grandson of Abraham, we just talked about. I'm still laying the scriptural foundation because this is so important. And please, whether you are a Christian or not, this is a critical foundation I need you to follow through on. And this gentleman, after supplanting his twin brother, ran for his life because the guy was after his life, ran for his life, and then he was advised by his mom to go to his uncle's house. And cut the long story short, the guy traveled, found himself in his uncle's house, and fell in love with one of the daughters called Rachel. Story short, cut the long story short, this gentleman called Jacob, uh, labored, and his uncle said the only way you can give his daughter in marriage to you is to work for me for 7 years. And for those of you who have been working for 10 years, 20 years, you know what 5 years, 7 years, 20 years labor looks like. Bottom line, this guy worked for 7 years, and his uncle played a fast one on him and gave him the older daughter. And because he truly and genuinely loved the younger one, the younger daughter, he was ready to work another 7 years, 14 years in total for two wives. And by the time he had worked in his uncle's house or uncle's business for 20 years. All he had to show for it was two wives, two concubines, 12 children. Benjamin had not been born at this time. And after, you know how you can labor so hard and you have little or nothing to show for it. And then the guy sat down and said, no, I can't continue like this. And said he said, when would he be able to begin to cater for his own family? And he took a major decision, which was more or less like a threat to his uncle. And his uncle, who had also changed his wages like 10 different times, began to plead with him. See, I've learned by divination that I'm blessed because you are here, right? So you can tell that Jacob was a very, very fruitful and productive employee. But at this point in his life, he was no longer interested in salary. And he negotiated that what he wanted was his own business. And God gave him an idea. One of the powerful things and principles here is that the idea God gave him was how that all the plain sheep or plain animals wasn't going to be his own reward. What he wanted was speckled sheeps. And when he told his boss that that's what he wanted, his boss said, this guy is going to do himself. Permit me for lack of a better expression. This guy is going to enjoy himself. Forgive me once again. And then, as fate would have it, because of the idea he had conceived, the revelation he had of how he was going to interrupt the genetic configuration of each of those animals, he kept that secret. That was his trade secret. And what did he do? He got, trees and then, scraped the trees, the sticks, and placed them inside water pots or water sheds. And then place them there such that, and then ensure that all animals that were fat and robust and energetic and strong were the ones that he positioned around these trees that he stripped in that particular way. And the idea, the vision he had was that as they mate and drank water, they see that tree, they eventually produced after that. So you can imagine plain animals, plain sheep, plain goats, and all of that, and cattle started to give birth to spotted and speckled sheep. And that was his own equity. That was his own investment. That was his own reward. And that was how he became bigger and bigger and bigger. By the way, before he made this move, because he was so convinced that this idea was going to work, he went a 3 days journey to separate his business from that of his employer. And he leveraged the power of visual imprinting to alter the genetic configuration of the sheep. And if it can work for animals, it will work for any human being. I have come to understand that whatever happens in our life is often a reflection of what's going on in our lives. If we also want to change what is going on in our life, we need to first influence what is happening within us. And that's exactly what we see across scripture. So if you are looking for a scientific explanation for the happenings around you right now, just check the state of your heart. You can almost predict and define and understand the reason why things are the way they are externally. And sometimes, and I'll tell you this is very, 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 very important. Please pay attention to this. I can tell you this for free, that when you begin to pay serious attention to your inner world, and you begin to take responsibility for what the state of your mind, the state of your heart, like I say, the state of your heart equals the state of your life, right? And the state of your life is just simply mirroring the state of your heart. So anything that influences the state of your heart ultimately influences the state of your life. So whatever you allow, and the gateway into your heart is your eyes and your ears. So whatever consistently you see, consistently you hear, consistently, eventually, influences your heart. This is how powerful these things are. So anybody, you can change their lives in the next 5 years if you help them to begin to see differently. You begin to help them to hear something different. If what you have been hearing, what you have been seeing is what you have been seeing, nothing will change in your life because that's what your heart will only recognize around you. And so, if it could work for animals, if the power of visual imprinting can work for animals, then it certainly would work for human beings. Um, so I've shared this already. Plain animals began to produce speckled offsprings. If this worked for animals, then it certainly would work for human beings. And that's pretty much the idea behind uh, um, Vision Board, right? God revealed this principle to Jacob, and that still holds true today. All right. So from um, the one language world, right, where they imagined to build, and God saw that what they had imagined, nothing would be able to restrain it from them, to Abraham, visualizing his seed, his offspring, his generations after him, to be more than the sand of the seashore or the stars in the sky. God was painting a picture to Jacob's animals, giving plain animals giving birth to speckled offsprings, all point to one single truth. And that is the fact that there's power in what you see regularly. Okay? So let's take it a step further. Visions, goals, and let's look at your mind. Now, there are three compartments of your mind. I want you to quickly take a look at. You can screen grab it, right? This is my gift to you anyway, so you don't need to worry about it. I'm giving it out. It's my joy and it's my delight. I'm being used of God to be a blessing to somebody here. May not be everybody, but at least to somebody here. I know this is going to be of tremendous value to you. Now, there are three compartments of your mind, and please pay attention to this. There's a part of your mind called the memory. There's a part of your mind called that is responsible for contemplation. There's a part of your mind that is responsible for imagination. Your memory is what replays the past. It visits the past. It replays the past. The contemplation processes the present, and your imagination preplays the future. Now, what I've come to understand over time and in my own short life is that there's very little, in fact, there's practically nothing you can do about the past. The past is past. Bygone be bygone. There's nothing you can do to change the past. You can only learn from it to improve your present and the future. So there's little, in fact, there's nothing you can do about the past. All right? But you see, where we have a lot of equity, where we have a lot of opportunity, is with our imagination. We have the opportunity to influence our future by the type of decisions we are taking today. And some people will be taking decisions, life-altering decisions today, right? And my mentor would say, great meetings don't make great people. It is great decisions, okay? And so I want to encourage you to pay serious attention to your mind, because these things, there are lots of people I've interacted with who live more in their past. That's why they are not able to possess their future. Have you ever seen anybody driving who only focuses on the rear mirror or the side mirrors and will not have a crash? That's why some people are not making as much progress as they should make. At some point, both your past failures and past success need to be left back in the past. Why? Because it's not only past failure that can stall your progress. Even past success will breed complacency, right? In fact, in my opinion and from my experience, the greatest enemy of success is not past failure. The greatest enemy of success is past success. And the only reason that is true is because it breeds complacency. It breeds complacency. You start talking about the good old days when things used to be fine. You start talking about old governments. Was there any government in the past that people never complained about? Yet people still refer to good old days, right? There's so much more in the future than in our past. So please, let's take note of that. So let's talk about the vision board very quickly. A vision board, essentially, and I defined it just so that we all have this understanding, mutual understanding, or common understanding. A vision board is essentially a graphic display of your goals in images or pictures, right? So this is an example of a vision board, right? This is not my exact vision board, but this is an example of what a vision board should look like. So you cut out pictures, and I'll get into that in a moment. I'll get into that in a moment. So if your vision board is a graphic display of your goals in images or pictures, then it means goal setting is very, very important, right? So let's talk about goal setting. Now, many of us are familiar with smart way of setting goals, which is still very, very valid. Um, smart means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. Okay, we'll get into that shortly. But I want to give you something to go chew on. And for those who already belong to our communities, um, you may have heard me share on this time and time again. Seductive goal setting is that goal that will transform your life. And since I've been setting seductive goals, um, it has changed practically every way, the way I operate, and it has elevated my results significantly. And those who follow the same template can attest to this fact. Now, so goals can be categorized into three. And now, by the way, I didn't find this in any book or Google it somewhere. This was an inspiration I got in I think it was 2016 or so. I was just driving to my place of work early hours of the morning, and it hit me differently. Before that time, I used to have long list of goals. Everything I want to accomplish, I list them out long. By the time I'm already into the first end of the first quarter of each year, I'm already confused. I'm already lost. So there are years where I had 36 different goals. Now, the point is there's nothing wrong with having 36 different goals, but they are not all equally important. They are not all seductive goals. So what I want to do here is to help you identify which one is the seductive goal. All right. So you have primary goals, and you have secondary goals, and then you have tertiary goals, right? But your primary goals essentially is the seductive goal. So your primary goal must be the one that carries the greatest consequence. So if you make a long list of all the things you want to accomplish this year, for example, right? Ask yourself which one, when achieved, will drive the fulfillment of all other goals. That is your primary goal, and that is your seductive goal. So your primary goal is your seductive goal. So I'll give you an example. If if you and I really need you all to respond. If you have what's it called now? If you so let's call this gentleman of marriageable age, is a fresh graduate, and he has no job. So note the three keywords: is of marriageable age, meaning that he's ready to marry or he qualifies to marry, at least based on age. Number two, he has no job. And number three, he has no house. He's still a squatter, right? He squats with his uncle. Which of these, now, each of these items, if he set a goal that he wants to get married, is correct, right? So marital goal is a goal. Career goal or getting a job is a goal. Getting a house is a goal. But the question is, which of these three goals is the primary goal? Which of these three goals is the seductive goal? Can you please respond? Which of these three goals is the goal? Which of these three goals is the goal? I need to see your response. Getting a job, fantastic. A job. So, oh, somebody said shelter. Okay, I'm seeing different views. Someone once said that someone once said that it was marriage. That if you marry a rich girl or marry a rich lady, that will take care of. Somebody said it needs funds, and the only way you can get funds is to get a job now. So get a job, right? And so different views I've gotten over the years. So he needs a job. So a large percentage of us agree that he needs a job. So that job becomes his seductive goal. Now, a seductive goal is an alluring goal. It's a goal that when you set it woos you. It compels you to perform. It makes your heart to bubble. It's like there's a lot that depends on you achieving this goal. You know, if you fail to achieve this goal, many other things would fail. In other words, if you also succeed at this goal, you achieve this goal, it will also take care of many other goals. A lot of times people are deploying energy in the wrong goals. And that's why they feel frustrated, because by the time you have executed or achieved that so-called unimportant goal, you have no more energy or not enough energy, not enough time, not enough resources to still now focus on what really matters. So what is the value of having a wife and you don't have a good job? Because it doesn't take much to toast or to propose, but you need resources to maintain what you have what you have attained. All right. So that's about that. So now most people fail to execute and achieve their goals largely because they lack a strong why. Now, in order for you to set a seductive goal, I just want to quickly give you some frameworks that I've used and I've used it to coach entrepreneurs, CEOs, different people who are within my mentorship. And it's the impact is just out of this world. I can't explain it. Every year, that's exactly what I do personally, as a family man, as a businessman, even as a clergyman myself. So that's exactly what I do. So what is that one thing that once we accomplish, it will take care of many other things? I make that my priority. I make that my focus. And the way to measure it or to evaluate whether what is your real seductive goal is you ask yourself, which one has the greatest consequence? Okay. I say it all the time. There's a difference between wild power and willpower. For a lot of people, we all have wills, but all of us are not as strong will as we think. But if you have a strong why, that strong why will compel you to perform, right? And time won't permit me to go into key subject, but let me just follow through with my notes that is on the screen that you can see right now. You can screen grab it. It's for your benefit. Now, there's a difference between the willpower and your why power. The will is the center of decision making, no doubt, but it could grow weak, and it often does, right? It is the reason. Now, but listen, the why power, on the other hand, is what sustains focus and discipline. Because you know what can fail, it compels you. It compels you to perform. You sit top, you sit tight. Okay? It is the reason that willpower, which is what we call commitment, can get you started. So you can make a decision today. I want to be successful. I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a millionaire. Whatever it is you want to become. I want to marry. There's the willpower. So willpower, which I call commitment, also gets you started. But it is why power that keeps you consistent. You know, one of my mentees once asked me, he said, how have you been able to maintain this level of discipline? How have you been able to stay consistent with the same thing again and again and again? Because listen, success is very boring. No, you have to keep doing the same thing. It's routine based. You have to do the same thing again and again and again and again. And I told him, I said, it is my why. Discipline becomes easy when there's a strong why, right? I said, I'll get to that shortly. So your commitment, your willpower can get you started, but it is your why power that keeps you consistent. It gets you to finish. That's what gets you to finish. And there are a lot of people who start the year on a great note, but they are not able to finish because they have a very, very weak why. Okay? So your seductive goal essentially is the primary goal that once achieved automatically takes care of all other goals. So as in the case of the example I gave earlier, when the gentleman gets a job, then he can get a house. That will be his secondary goal. And then he can then marry into that house. True of us. Otherwise, you will marry, you just have your priorities misplaced, which is really the way a lot of people live their lives. And every time, any area of your life where you're facing any form of pressure, any area of your life, just take this from me. You have your priorities misplaced. So if you want to minimize the pressure or eliminate the pressure, just reorder your priorities. And that would mean displeasing people. That will require you to disobey yourself in some instances. Okay? So a seductive goal is a goal that woos you and that allures you. And the only way it would allure you is because you have a strong why. Now, that's two important questions you want to ask yourself when it comes to identifying your seductive goal, identifying your primary goal. Two important questions. Number one is, what will go wrong if the goal does not happen? What will go wrong? Now, I put it to you here today that any goal that you set, don't forget why we are how we arrived at goals. We arrived at goal because we defined vision board as a graphic display of goals, right? So we need to define what goals really are and the type of goal that we need to start to set in order for our visions to be clearer and and all of that. So what would go wrong? Any goal that lacks consequence, that goal will not come to fruition. So you want to ask yourself, what will go wrong if this goal does not happen? Okay, that is what describes the potential for pain or potential pain that will happen if you don't achieve this goal. I call it punishment or penalty. The second question you want to ask yourself is, what will go right if this goal happens? This is what describes the promise of pleasure. This is the reward, the fulfillment you derive when a goal is fulfilled or achieved. All right? As human beings, you must understand this. We are all motivated either by pain or by pleasure. We are all either running away from something or running towards something. When we were kids and we had much younger kids, and the much younger kid is going toward a lantern, hot lantern. There have been times when, as little children, we try to rescue the child from touching the hot lantern. And our parents or older siblings will tell us, no, leave him or leave her. You don't need to instruct them again. Once they touch it and they feel that it is hot, they will be the one by themselves. For those of you who understand Yoruba language, they will say Jojo, Jojo, Jojo. So you don't need to say further words. We all run away from pain and we run toward pleasure. All right. And when you design your goals or when you set goals based on what can go wrong or what can go right, it has a way to propel you. So if you write down your goal and does not generate the impetus to perform, it does not generate energy inside of you, that goal lacks a strong why. It lacks a strong why. The reason why it's easy for most business to collapse is largely because there wasn't even a strong purpose, a strong why before the business started. Most businesses were started to just feed themselves and feed family. And a lot of us started that way, no doubt. But at some point, if you really, really want the business to scale, then you need to define a very strong why for that business. Otherwise, when things go awry and doesn't go as expected or it's not pleasant anymore, you throw in the towel and you dust your certificate and start looking for a job. That's for those who have started business anyway. So a goal without a consequence will not materialize. So if you can define what will go wrong and what will go right, this is what will fuel your focus. It will fuel your discipline. It will fuel your commitment. Right? And guess what? There are times when you may lower standards. You have a little setback here and there, and your routine was altered. In such instances, because you had a strong why, it will be bouncing back won't be difficult. Coming back again to what you were doing won't be difficult because there will be setbacks. I can tell you that for free. Okay. Now, another very important thing I need to share here, I'm not sure if time will permit me to get into all of it, is the fact that when you set goals, please pay attention to what I'm about to say right now. One of the missing link for a lot of people is that they set goals, but they don't design the daily activities, daily ritual, daily routine that will support the realization of those dreams or those goals. So you set a goal that you want to make a certain X amount of money, or you want to save X amount of money. How much will you be saving every day or every week or every month? That has to be there. If you say, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds or 50 pounds, depending on your weight or whatever, right? How many times a week would you be exercising? How many times a day? What would be your daily routine? So everybody needs a daily routine that will support the realization. Listen, that's why it doesn't take much for weeds to grow on farmlands, but it takes a lot of effort for you to harvest fruit. So you have to cultivate the ground, you have to plant the seeds, you have to put manure or fertilizer, you have to water the ground, you have to protect it against rodents, you have to protect it against, hirelings and all of that. And that's a lot of work. That's what it takes to also achieve your goal. So there must be something you do daily. So whether it's 30 minutes, 1 hour daily, if you do this daily, there's no way you will not get closer and closer to fulfilling your goal. So it is good enough to have a very strong why and define what the consequences are if you don't achieve certain goals, or what will go right if you achieve them. But it's also important, equally important, that you factor what you must do daily. All right. So I feel I've said that. So vision in practice. You want to write down your goals first. Okay. Please can grab this if you cannot write. Um, Vision board in practice. Write down your goals first. Then find appropriate pictures that represent those goals. All right. And I'll get into that if time permits. Sometimes the goals that you want to accomplish, what is your own goal? What's your own dream? Somebody else's testimony. So sometimes just finding the people who have already accomplished what you want to accomplish is just one of such ways. You just cut out the picture of the person and then put it in your goal or in your vision board. That's the way it is. So, all right. I often say that it is cheaper to fail on paper than to fail in the field. I don't know what's interrupting my screen. Is there a way we can stop all that, admin? It is cheaper to fail on paper than to fail in the field. All right. Um, and the reason for that is if you get a piece of paper and you document your goals or you document your plans and the thing isn't going to go as planned or as you wanted, right? Worst thing that will happen is that you replace the paper, you tear the other one, right? Or you erase it and rewrite it. But you see, when you don't make a commitment to sit down, really sitting down. Many of us are on a treadmill. We are on the cycle of activity, and activity is a killer of sensitivity. So we don't have time to sit back, reflect, and think of, oh, how else can I do it? If someone defined insanity as doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result, right? So you want to do something entirely different. You want to sit back and really think. You want to deploy your faculty, right? Borrowing from the way I've lived last year. If I continue the way I've lived last year, if I continue the way I've lived the last 5 years, will this next 5 years be great? Answer the question for yourself. All right. So it's always cheaper to fail on paper because once you make a mistake, you can adjust, you can get a new paper, you can erase and all of that. But if you get into the field and you make the mistake, it can be fatal. It can cost you your very life, and you may not even be alive to tell the story. So, which is why this is very, 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 very important. So, I want to give you this charge. Do not ask how it will happen. Do not ask how it will happen. Your job, your role is to capture the images that represent the future you desire. Let me tell you something that happens when you document, when you start to design your vision board. When you begin to see this thing regularly, you are feeding your subconscious mind. Now, let me tell you what happens. You then begin to recognize the people, the places, the platform, the products that will facilitate the realization of your dreams. So everything you will ever need is not going to be made available. It's already in abundant supply. Everything you would ever need throughout your lifetime is not going to be provided. It's in abundant supply. A few weeks ago, I was in San Diego, California, and I was sharing. I was at the beach, Coronado Beach in California. And while at the beach, it just revived that memory again in my mind. How that look at the sea, look at the sea. You can see the beginning, but you can't see the end. That's how unlimited. That's how unlimited life. That's how unlimited the resources that we would ever require is. And guess what? What determines what I draw from that sea, that ocean, will be the container I bring in there. So if I bring in a 25-liter gallon, I will draw 25-liter volume of water. If I bring in a 10,000-liter tanker, I will draw 10,000-liter volume of water. Guess what? Even if I bring in 1 million-liter tanker, the ocean will not even feel it. Even if there are 1 million of us, that's how unlimited the resources that we have on this planet is. But how have we limited ourselves? We have limited ourselves by our mind. So our mind is the container. God, the life, is the ocean. So don't restrict how far. That's why I said Vision 2026 is one level, Vision 2030 is another. And so I want you to expand your vision, right? If you can enter your mind, just write it. I'm telling you the truth. Because ultimately faith calls those things that be not as though they were. I stumbled on some of my old goals, old sheets, and all of that years ago. And I wondered what type of a human being wrote those goals. I was too myopic, too small-minded. And I mean, there's nothing wrong because you dream as fast as you can dream, and then when you get there, you dream further. All right. So dream as fast as you can dream. But let me tell you this: let your imagination run wild, especially for the long-term goals. All right. And the reason this is so important is because whatever preoccupies your mind, whatever thoughts dominate your mind will eventually become your life outcome, will become your eventual reality. This is so important. So that's about that. So we see goals and the power of setting goals and all of that, seductive goal setting. Now let's quickly look at goals and the power of clarity. And then I'll quickly I'll share something with you that I believe that will be of tremendous value to all of you. And then I'll come back again and then we'll continue from where we stopped. If a vision board is goal displayed in pictures, then goals are very critical. We've already established that, right? There was a man called Greg Reed. Greg Reed made this assertion and he said, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action is what makes your dream come true. And this is so powerful. What does that suggest? It means that a goal is a dream written down with a date. That's what it means. It also means that a plan is a goal broken down into steps. And it is when you back that plan with an action, that's what makes your dream to come true. There are statements that once you hear them, they stay with you. This is one of them for me. This particular one I just read to you from Greg Reed, and then this particular one, I encountered this on one of my trips to South Africa years ago. And I saw this particular massive billboard in OR Tambo International Airport at Johannesburg. And it was written there, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Listen to me, people. I want you to pay attention to this. A dream is like a house, finished. Goals are the building blocks. So you must set goals in order to score goals. So show me a champion in any field at all, who does not set goals. I know, I have this role model who once told me that he doesn't set goals and he achieves a lot of things. And we were discussing some other time, and somebody was there, and I told the person, I said, don't copy him. Oh, he's an exception. It's not the rule. There are people who are exceptions. They're in a class of their own. You don't copy exceptions. You copy the rule. You follow rules. Don't copy exceptions. All right? And the reason this is so important is because there is no such person who is really accomplishing anything who doesn't have some of these principles ingrained one way or the other. Success is not accidental. If success is achieved accidentally, it will be lost accidentally. And this is why I say that you can fall off a ladder by accident, but you cannot climb that ladder by accident. So you have to be very intentional. You have to be very deliberate. This year, 2026 and beyond, you have to make up your mind. I'm going to do things differently, right? And that's what we'll be looking at in a moment. So let me quickly share something with us very quickly. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions. Am I adding value? Is this making sense? Let me know. Um, all right, so I hope I got this right. Put don't go anywhere. All right, so let me share this with you. So I have this challenge I host from time to time, but I'm having the first edition for 2026 happening from Monday 26th to Saturday 31st of January. It's called the Earn to Own Challenge. It's your 6-day ultimate guide to financial freedom. Now listen carefully. I need you to pay attention. If you make money, big or small, and you want to make a lot more money, this is a program you need to attend. Okay? I shared the format, the formula. Listen, there's something about knowing what to do whenever you need money. Nothing can be more empowering than knowing what to do to produce income whenever you need it. Okay? And this is what the Earn to Own Challenge will do for you. Now, for those of you who already make a lot of money, but need guidance on where to apply, how to apply the structure and all of those things to achieve financial freedom. Because you see, if you don't find a way to make money while asleep, you will work till you will die. So you can earn big and still end broke. So we will also cover all of that. So it's a 6-day program, minimum of 2 hours daily for 6 days. It's actually a 5-day program, but the 6th day is a bonus day. And that's the day we talk about generational wealth, trusts, planning, legacy, estate planning, and all of that. That's when we touch on all of that. And you really, really don't want to miss it. So it happens, it starts on Monday, 26th of this month, all the way to Saturday, the 31st. It's 11 a.m. So that will be 2 Saturdays from now. Sorry, that'll be 2 Mondays from now. That's when we'll be starting this program. So wherever you are, we're also going to be having it online. And everyone who has attended this class before have testimonies to share. The first time I ever hosted this program, it held as Financial Freedom Masterclass, and it was a bomb. Some of the people in that class at that time in 2020, January 2020, many of them now own their businesses and they are doing, phenomenal. As in, I'm so proud and glad that some of them, in fact, in recent time, I had conversations with some of them, and the type of transaction and the things that they've acquired and all of those things gives me a lot of joy. And so you want to be in this class, it doesn't matter your location anywhere in the world, principles are universal, and this was going to help you. Now, what you are going to get if you enroll for this program is this. You are going to enjoy 6-day live sessions with me. I'm the one facilitating all through. It's going to be very, very powerful. Can we mute that device? Um, 6-day live sessions with me. That is valued at $299 or 450,000 naira. I'm also going to be giving you my financial freedom template. All right. This is extremely valuable. You'll see exactly what to do to make money and all of that, the step by step. And then you also get financial health check and report. There are many people who are trying to find healing, but they are not carrying out diagnosis. So the financial health check and report, you will see what is really wrong and what to fix. So it's superb. It's superb. All right. And then you also get my how to plan your life course. How to plan your life course. All of these things, these are the costs. This is how much it costs to get any of these courses. Then the financial freedom course I told you about, right? Is also part of the things you'll be getting. And then the vision board course. So this particular masterclass we are hosting right now, I've done it as a course, right? It's also part of the package. And then if you register for this program, you will get the replay of this vision board masterclass. I know some of you already are asking, how can I get it? That is how you will get it. Now, the total value of this program itself is $1,000, $1,140, or 1,710,000 naira. Now, but that's not what you're going to pay. Pay attention to this. If you lock down this opportunity today, you just pay $99 and you get everything I've just talked about, and you attend program. All right. And it's only valid for first 50 people. So I'm not, because I love when it is close-knit type of classroom, not as many as we are here right now. So so you lock down that offer. The link will be dropped in the chat box. Take advantage of it. And you'll be very glad you did. It's going to be one of the biggest and best investments you've made. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. If your finances is not where it's supposed to be right now and you want it to be better, a lot better, then this is the program for you. We have workbooks, we have materials and different things that will be made available to you once you register. And you will be glad you registered. You'll be glad you registered. So that's all I will say, not more than that. And so take advantage of the opportunity while it lasts. It's just for the first 50 people. After that, we close the chapter. All right. Then finally, let me just say this for now. I also run what we call the Realtor Mentoring Program. And so if you live in Nigeria or you live anywhere in the world and you want to launch your Nigerian real estate career in just 4 weeks from anywhere in the world, then you want to take advantage of this particular program. It's a massive one. We call it Realtor Mentoring Program. So anybody, see, there are people who are doing some phenomenal things in the industry who have gone through this program, right? So I play in the real estate space in Nigeria and in the US. So there are many things that we package in this program that will give you a head start this year and beyond. Okay, so you also have the opportunity to join my team and learn what it takes to become the sought-after global real estate consultant. That's what this is about. And then what is in the pack? You have access to a self-paced realtor training course. So it's already packaged. That's valued at 100,000 naira. You have bi-monthly group coaching mentorship, group coaching and mentorship. That's also 100,000 naira. Then you also have access to growth-focused community, right? That's also valued at 100,000 naira a year. Then you have access to cash and non-cash reward opportunities. This is priceless and predictable and high income. So if you are in this room and you don't know, you probably have a job, but you are looking for an extra source of income and you want somebody that can hold you by the hand and coach you, this is the one for you. You don't want to miss it for any reason, right? And then it also gives you access to high-level networking opportunities. Everything here is 300,000 naira, and you won't have to pay that. What you would need to pay is just 20,000 naira if you lock it down today. So a link will also be dropped in the group for those who want to enroll for the Realtor Mentoring Program. So please just click the link and register and do all the needful. Just follow the instruction, and then feel free to reach out to the admins on the WhatsApp, on the Zoom call, all right? Or on the WhatsApp group for those of you who are on the WhatsApp group, right? All right, so that will be all for now. Yeah, let me leave that till next one. Let me try and see if I can wrap up the next thing. Okay, so let me wrap up the next thing that's we have here. So what I want to do right now is just to help you see how you can set goals. So this is still very, very relevant. There are goals, different concepts around goal setting, which I already talked about, seductive goal setting. This is also very, very relevant. So S means specific. You want to set smart goals. You don't just want to say, I want to be blessed this year. No, that's meaningless. There's no way to measure that. There's no way to assess that, right? M means measurable. So goals have to be quantifiable to measure progress, all right? And it must be achievable, right? Like I said, when I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there were goals I said that the goals I said today now is a reflection of my capacity. It's a reflection of how much I've grown, all right? So usually based on your level of education, your exposure, your capacity, and all of that, that's what defines the achievability of a goal. So it's important to always factor that also. And as you grow, that's why investing in yourself, becoming a superior version of yourself is critical in this journey, okay? See, you cannot accomplish anything beyond your capacity. If you achieve anything beyond your capacity, it will spill, it will waste. So goals must be achievable. So achievable with regards to your level of exposure, your level of education, network experiences, and all of that. Okay. I was saying humorously recently to someone, I said, sometimes when people meet me, I say, how come I did not know you 20 years ago? I said, if you knew me 20 years ago, the version of me 20 years ago is not the version you meet me now. So I'm the superior version of what I used to be. Okay. And clearly, I won't be like this in another 5 years, in another 10 years. And that's the type of thing you have to set. A lot of times people set financial goals, but they are not setting personal development goals, forgetting that it is you. You are the most important critical success factor, right? If it must be, it's up to you. All right. So that's pretty much what that is. Then realistic. R means realistic. Now, goals cannot be considered realistic if you are still operating using old strategy. If what you did before, how you did it before, is how you want to do it, and you want to generate a greater result, then you'll be that would be unrealistic. All right. All right. So there was a time when um, overseas trip had to be done by ship, and it took months in order for that to be covered in hours. A new machine had to be invented to make that trip realistic, to make flying across continents shorter, to that goal of flying within hours. To make that goal realistic, there had to be a new strategy. So understand this, because sometimes people don't just, I want to grow big, I want to be 10,000 times, I want to be this, I want to make billions. And yeah, these are the things that people don't pay attention to. Then it must be time bound. So you have to set time bound, you have to set timelines, right? Otherwise, there will be no sense of urgency. All right. There will be no sense of urgency. So please take note of that. So this time bound creates a sense of urgency. Now let's quickly talk about the 6 compartments of life where you need to set goals. And this is so important, and I need us to pay rapt attention here. Please, you invested time and your data to join this class, and please pay attention to what I'm about to share. This is probably the most important thing I'm going to be sharing with you. And this is what a lot of people miss in planning their lives and setting goals. So all the things that has to do with this vision board should be centered around these 6 compartments. Some people have it as 8, some people have it as 10, and all of that. But I've been able to compress it to just 6. And so pay attention to this. The first aspect of what area of your life where you need to set goals is your spiritual health, right? It's your spiritual health. This talks of your vertical relationship with your creator. It talks about your vertical relationship with your creator, right? And this is the core of you. This is what defines everything else. Okay? So spiritual health. This is so important. And a lot of people ignore this, and they wonder why they struggle. So every time you take time to fast, you take time to pray, you take time to feed on God's word, you take time to meditate, you are really enhancing your spiritual health. Okay? This is so important. The second compartment of your life that you need to also plan for is your emotional, mental, and intellectual health. Okay? Your mental, emotional, and intellectual health. Please note this. This is where your personal development goals are set. This is where you gain skill mastery. This is where you develop skills. This is where you develop capacity. This is where you also, subject yourself to, therapy where necessary. Some of us are emotionally unstable. With the way you are emotionally, you cannot handle success. It will crash you. I had a very pathetic story recently of a man, who had done some business with us we had done business with him. He was not the one. We did business with him. He was one of our vendors at a point in time, and it was quite successful. And served, but he had anger problem. He had anger issues, and I recently learned that he passed on because somebody attempted to play the fast one on him, and it was anger burst, and then he pushed the person pushed him as he landed, and that was the end. He died. Emotional intelligence, this is where you develop, you cultivate it. You need to set goals. If you have anger problem, you have lost problem, you need to deal with it because it can mess up your journey. whether male or female. This is so important. And I'm going to say something shortly. The third one is your physical health. Your physical health. When was the last time you went for for your for medical checkup? I recommend you do that during your birthdays, so you don't forget, or during your anniversary, your wedding anniversary if you're married. Okay. So your spiritual health talks about vertical relationship with your creator. Your mental and emotional health and intellectual health talks with relationship with your soul, with yourself. And your physical health talks about relationship with your body. All right. How well rested are you? Are you always stressed? Are you always feeling weak and tired all of the time? How well are you taking? You need to set physical health goal, because a person with their life, they achieve goals. Oh, I mean, forgive me. I mean, I'm not speaking. I just lost myself for a few seconds there. So you need to stay alive physically also. Now, your your relationship with your body, you need to eat well, you need to exercise, and you don't need to go to gym to live healthy. I mean, I saw a video recently of many of you know Aproko Doctor, right? I love that guy. I love him a lot. I love some of the things he does. But the one he released recently was that if you want to stay alive this year, learn to trek. Trek. Trekking was the remedy that he gave. Trekking. He gave recommendations that if, for those of us who go to do grocery shopping, you go to shopping mall, park far away from the mall, and then trek more distance. Those of us who are used to taking lifts, escalators or elevators, decide to go through the staircase and burn some calories and all of that. This is what will keep you alive, and then make sure you have up to 7 hours or 8 hours sleep. By the way, I've not been able to achieve that. I must confess. I've not been able to achieve that. I don't know how people do 8 hours sleep. I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. Pray for me. That's one of the areas I need help, right? But in terms of rest, in terms of exercise, I follow those ones. And I don't fall sick, right? So if you marry these three things together, your spiritual health, your emotional, mental, and intellectual health, as well as your physical health, this is what describes you as a person. It is this totality. The healthy you is what you carry into a relationship. That brings us to the fourth compartment. So if you are not all right in these first three compartments, nothing will be all right in your relationship. So your relational health talks about relationship with your fellow man, all right? With horizontal relationship with family, friends, and foes. Everybody will not like you, and you too will not like everybody necessarily, but we are commanded to love. So you will relate with all sorts of people. There are necessary people in your life who you may not share similar values with, but work, business, and different things will bring you together. And you must learn to maintain a healthy relationship with such people as well. So, what are the things you are going to put in place? What boundaries are you going to put around your life just to ensure that things work the way they ought to work? Now, listen to me carefully. If you are not healthy spiritually, emotionally, mentally, intellectually, and physically, it will affect the quality of your relationships. It will affect the people that will be drawn to you, and to affect the kind of people that you will attract or even repel. Okay, so your relational health is that's what it is. So you need to set goals. Some of us are islands on our own. We are isolated from people. We live life by ourselves, with ourselves alone. For the fear of not wanting to be hurt, we avoid people completely. That's not even maturity. That's not growth. Okay. So you want to pay serious attention to that. So every year I set goals on how I'm going to service my relationship with my mentors, how I'm going to service my relationship with my mentees, how I'm going to service my relationship with my spouse, with my children, with my parents, with my siblings. I set agenda around that. All right. So whether it is quarterly or whatever, what am I going to do to service the relationships? Some of us, we are takers, we are drainers, we just want to suck. That's not how you want to grow healthy in your relationships. You want to ask yourself, what am I going to invest in my relationship with XYZ? Who are the five closest people to you already define your future? which is why I always recommend that people to take advantage of our inner circle membership, because these are not ordinary people. These are powerful people that are in the inner circle. Okay. Right. So then you have your ministry, business, and career health. Now, your ministry, business, or career health. Now, for those of you who are clergy people, priests, imam, pastors, whatever, evangelists, whatever it is you are, that's ministry. And you may not even be called any of those titles and yet be in ministry, because really ministry is service. All right. You can be in business and be serving. What I'm doing now is ministry. I'm serving, right? I didn't set this up for monetary gain primarily. I deliver it because it will help somebody I may not have met, I may never meet, right? And that's the joy of what we do, right? Of course, I have loads and loads of services that I render that people pay a lot for, right? But this is a ministry of some sort. Now, your ministry, business, and career health refers to your relationship with the marketplace. And it is what I call your source or sources of income and impact. So it is possible to make impact and be making income at the same time. So you can do the two together. You can be making income and be making impact at the same time. You can make impact and be making income at the same time. So there's nothing wrong. So that's what it is. This is where you set your business goals. How many new customers are you going to achieve this year? Are you going to attract this year? How many new markets are you going to penetrate this year? What new territories are you going to go this year? What new project are you going to launch? What new products and services are you going to launch? That's where you set it. Am I communicating here at all? And then you have your financial health. Your financial health. Your financial health talks about your relationship with money. Now, listen to me carefully. Most people who interact with me talk to me a lot about their financial health, about their money. But if you get the first 5 right, your financial health will be all right. I need you to pause and meditate a little on what I just said. You want to make a lot of money, you want to hammer, you want to blow, but you don't get your spiritual health right. How do you know? How do you recognize opportunities if you are not discerning? What's your current level of wisdom? Can your wisdom bring solution to puzzles in people's lives? What's your plan to develop that capacity? What skill do you have now that can earn you income? What skill do you possess right now that, how do I describe it? What skill do you possess right now that can help you solve problems faster for people and earn you a lot of money? By the grace of God, I've resolved things, different issues for people in different parts of the world. And I say, no, just do this, do this, do this. And it's like, how did you know this? Even myself, sometimes I don't know. It just drops. And then you do it, it gets produce results. So that's the way. So you want to develop those areas. Now, your relationship determines the type of people you attract even in your business. And that's what ultimately determines your financial health. Now, when it comes to financial health, let me say something here. There are 4 things I want to say here. Number 1 is your asset column and liability column. And if you attend Earn to Own Challenge, I dissect it whole heart. I break it down. You see it. I show you money patterns. I show you mindset. I show you different things. And let me not run out ahead of myself. So your asset column must be furnished. So you want to continue to build up assets for yourself wherever you are, right? And then you want to, build up, you want to staff your liability column. So assets are anything that appreciates in value and then puts money in your pocket. Liability, on the other hand, are things that depreciates in value and then takes money from you. So you want to identify your liabilities, you want to identify your assets. And then you want to begin to set goals. How many lands am I going to acquire this year? One of my friends said, you're actually supposed to be buying the number of land or house commensurate to your age. So if you are 50, you should have 50 plots of land minimum. Or 50 houses minimum. Why is that so important? Because at some point, as you grow older, your age will diminish. Your energy, rather, will diminish. what you are capable to do physically, you will no longer be able to do. So at that point in your life, it is your spiritual energy and your emotional and mental energy that you are supposed to be deploying, not your physical energy again. You will no longer be agile enough to do all the things you should be doing. At that point, all your money should be the one working for you. Your assets should be producing for you. And one thing I love about assets is the fact that it works harder. It works 24/7, 365 days a year. Whether while you are sleeping, while you are traveling, it's working, it's producing for you. And you can plan it. Okay? So that's what so when you are setting goals, set goals, your spiritual goals, your all these goals, personal development goals, and all of that. So for some of you, yeah, you already have masters. Some of you already have doctorate. You may want to go for another certification. For some of you, it is not any certification. You just want to acquire one skill that will be producing income for you. That will be your priority. Listen, listen, listen. I can say this to you free of charge because I've been there and I know what it was for me. I used to read, sometimes I've read in a whole year before 100 books in a whole year, more than 100 books in a whole year. But I realized that it was just scattered all over the place. Yes, I'm full of knowledge, full of all of type of insights, but that was not enough. What was now important to me at the time was to ensure that I have focus so that I can stack mastery over mastery and not mastery over, not lack of mastery over another lack of mastery. So if you want to gain mastery, you want to pick up a skill. Say, okay, I want to learn fashion designing this year, or I want to learn digital skills this year, or I want to learn AI skills this year, or I want to learn software development, or whatever skill you want to develop. Settle it within yourself. Listen, the people I was listening to an interview they granted Anthony Robbins yesterday. Phenomenal. I'll look for the video and share and ask my team to share with everybody. You need to go sit down and listen to what the guy said. So phenomenal things he shared that yesterday. And one of the things I took away was that a lot of people are scared that AI will take their jobs. No, you shouldn't be afraid. The people you should be afraid of are the people who know how to use AI. That's what you should be scared of. You shouldn't be scared of AI taking your job. You should be scared of people who take your job because they know how to use AI. So digital skill is has come to stay. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. You have got to embrace these things as early as possible. Now, you need to write your goals correctly. Write your goals either in present tense or in past tense. By the end of this year, I have achieved, accomplished, attained. So, for example, in my spiritual goal, I will say, let me read something to you. Because what I'm telling you now is not cock and bull story. So let me just use this is my goal sheet for 2026. And what is here are the things I'll just look for pictures, images that represent this, and I write it. So the way I write it, I write in past tense. I sometimes recommend you write in present tense, but it is easier to write in past tense to say completed. So that by the time this year is over, I would have completed Bible in 1 year. I would have read the Bible through from Genesis to Revelation, right? I would have engaged in personal. So I'm using my example now. I would have engaged. This is spiritual health. I would have engaged in personal. So I didn't write. I just wrote engaged in completed, continued. Right. So you write them in observed. So this year I've allocated 3 dates for personal retreats where I'm going to go review my life, review these things I'm planning to do, and review it backward. So I've already blocked it. And it's very important for my spiritual well-being. And so should you. Okay? I can go on and on. And then for my mental, emotional, and spiritual and intellectual health, there's a specific skill that I've already enrolled for that will produce unlimited fortune. Guess what? Even people in my inner circle are going to benefit significantly from this because it's something that I cannot wait to. I mean, no, people will not be able to ask me that question. Only inner circle member will ask me that question. And I'm going to be exposing it to them only. Right? So if you want to join the inner circle, take advantage of that. So skills, different things that I would do by myself, with my family, with my friends, I'm a very serious-minded person. My life is characterized by structure, order, serious. My life is too serious. So part of the things I intend to do this year is to play. I've dedicated time to play, as in play. And someone once asked me that, but why is this so? You know, I think I was introduced to seriousness early enough, too early. Um, I had to take responsibility for my siblings early enough. I had to be there, present for them, and I was held accountable for when they misbehave or when they behave well. I had to be, I was held accountable, and it helped me. Okay, it helped me significantly. Okay, so writing goals correctly, that's one thing you want to consider. You also want to look at images to support those goals. I already explained that. So look for images that describes it. Look at the image on the wall. So if you want to get married this year, you write it there. Get a picture of somebody who's getting married. If you are black, look for black couple who are getting married and put it there. That's how it's done, oh my people. I'm telling you, this is how miracles manifest. Oh, you put it where you'll be seeing it regularly. And this one I will recommend. Once you put it there, you now snap it. For those of you who use your phones regularly, you cut it out and make it your wallpaper on your phone, so that you wake up, you see it on your mirror, you see it. When you go out, you are touching your phone, you are seeing the thing. It's registering in your subconscious mind. That's how this thing is magnetic, and I'll touch on that very shortly. Now, where should these images come from? It can come from newspapers, it can come from magazines, it can come from billboards, it can come from screenshots, right? And it can come from online searches. So if, for example, and this is what I recommend mostly, right? You can type newly wedded couple on Google and then click on image, and to give you look for the one that fascinates you the most, and cut it, print it rather, and then glue it to the wall, glue it to your wall. Now, I do not have the opportunity to come and show you the samples, but the picture of the materials that you need are the exact materials I got specifically for this. Maybe some other time when I have the opportunity to do physical meeting, I will illustrate exactly what I'm talking about, and we will talk less because we've already done this. So cut them out from magazines and all of that, and then anything. Now, listen, keep your vision board fluid. So it must not be a static material. Keep it fluid. So you find things as you progress, right? Once you see something that represents your dream, your vision, snap it or cut it and add it to what you already have. All right. So what I showed you in terms of the various compartments. So you want to compartmentalize your goals in the same way you want to compartmentalize your vision board. That's actually how you do it. This thing is so powerful. I had a dream when I first did this thing, and the dream was we're going to build a massive complex, we're going to do. I didn't even put a figure to it, but it was going to be something magnificent. We're going to build something that was magnificent. As of that moment, there was no cupboard that I could say, okay, we had this money, cash that we were going to use to do it. And one step after, see, I'm telling you that this thing will really works. And that's what I'm telling you. That's why I'm sharing this with you. And within months of crafting, designing this vision board, everything started gravitating in my direction. And let me tell you this, because why this is so important, because whatever will distract you from achieving that vision or making that vision to collapse will come at you. And I'm going to share my own story with you as well. So as soon as I documented and I put all these things together, everything started to work together. One call after the other, meeting after one meeting, and all of that. And then the vision came to pass. Even the way we found that parcel of land was mysterious, because it was even during COVID we acquired the parcel of land. Can you imagine? When everybody is locked down at home, that's when we found a parcel of land to build this thing on. It was a massive project, and it still stands out today, even in that particular neighborhood till today. But there's no way I could have visualized it with exactitude as much as it happened. Now, listen to this carefully. One of the things that eventually happened was we now face crisis. We face challenges, all sorts of challenges. But by the special grace of God, we delivered the project. But it created several other problems afterward. It derailed me completely. And I'm being honest here. So you understand this. Now, Be careful what you say in the midst of problems. When the dreams you have on your vision board don't look like what is happening in your life, be careful what you say. Because what you say with emotion as a way is like a stamp. It's like a seal. So you have to be very careful what you say in the moments of pain. You have to be careful what you say in the moments of disappointment and betrayal and setback. You have to be careful. So don't say what you are seeing if it is unbearable, if it's undesirable. Don't say it. The temptation, the pressure to say it. And that is the greatest. It's like you are in labor room. Another version, another aspect is about to be unleashed. And how long you will remain in that crisis or how quickly you come out of it will be dependent on the words you speak during those seasons. So watch out for that. And that's why I said this is a very spiritual program. This is a spiritual masterclass. All right. I hope I made sense there because that was not part of the plan. Then you can use people as visual anchors. Like I said, your own dream is somebody else's testimony. And this is also why you have to be very careful with envy and jealousy. Some of the people you should be praying for and thanking God for, you are maligning, you are speaking ill of them, and you are wondering why you can't despise something and then you attract it. You can't attract what you despise. That's pretty much what it is. So look out for people. They may not have, they may not represent fully what you really want. But if they have a measure of success that you want, cut their picture, put it there. So this could be pictures of people that inspire you or that have accomplished things in areas of spirituality, excellence, leadership, success to you. Their pictures can be tied to specific goals. So for spiritual health, for example, I cut out the picture of my pastor. When it comes to leadership, there are people that I see, he himself inclusive, right? I cut pictures of that and put it. Are you following what I'm talking about now? If it is money, business success, and all of that, the richest man in the world is Elon Musk right now. And you could be the next. Put it there and be thanking God. Every time you look at the picture, you say, thank you for people like Elon Musk who are showing that it is possible to be wealthy. As of last week or so that I saw a video, is worth 467 billion US dollars. A human being, oh, human being, not a country, oh, not a continent, a human being, human being. He has blood running through his veins too. All right. So anything that you want to accomplish, somebody else has already done it. Just find the pictures and cut it and put it there. Every time you see it, it reminds you. You are sending signals to your subconscious mind. This does not mean idolation, mind you. It doesn't mean that you are idolizing in that sense. It just means that this person reminds you of your dream. This person reminds you of the standard you should set for yourself. All right? So God often uses familiar faces to communicate deeper truths. And that's pretty much part of the things you want to consider. So then consider flexibility and growth. Do not fear mistakes. It's part of the process. It's part of the learning curve. Okay? So vision board evolves. And that's why I said you should have two different vision boards. One for this year. Every year, do a new fresh, just as you are going to write new goals for new year, have a new vision board for each year, but have one that is futuristic. And like I said, Vision 2030. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Then visit that future, come back, and then put pictures that represent what you saw. That's what it is. Okay. Your vision board must be visible. So you have to place it where you see it regularly. So any picture you have on your vision board that no longer fit, you want to remove it and replace it with a more appropriate one. Okay. So it has to be fluid, it has to evolve. All right. And that's why the flexibility element and component comes in. Am I still making sense here? Do I still have your attention? And then do not overload the vision board. And this is so important. So you want to focus on clarity, not just clutter. So that's why I gave you 6 compartments so that if you are going to put pictures or images or whatever, and it's not only pictures you put, sometimes you can put, it can be a scripture, right? It can be a quotable quote, all right? It can be anything, all right? But pictures is what I recommend the most because we all think in pictures, not in words, all right? So your vision board must be visible. You must place it where you can see regularly. You must see it regularly. All right. Like I said, you can also use your phone as a vision board. Turn your vision board into wallpapers uh, and all of that. And then again, there are laws. I don't want to talk too much about faith. Faith calls those things that be not as though they exist already. So do not ask how your goal will happen. That's not your job. You That's why most people don't do things like this because they feel that that one we go chop. I beg, tell me the step. What I go do? What I go? No. The reason you are not doing is because you have not yet become. Who you become determines what you do. What you do determines what you achieve. But the foundation is who you become. And what you see regularly is what defines who you are becoming. Are you following me at all? What you hear regularly, what you are seeing regularly defines who you are becoming. This is so important. This is so powerful. Now, what are the laws that are activated? Let me just share a few of them, and then we'll wrap up with the last set of opportunities I want to present to you. The first law is the law of imagination, and this is so powerful, right? I told you earlier that with your mind, there's the contemplation, there's the memory. With your memory, you replay the past. With contemplation, you process the present, and with your imagination, you pre-play the future. So you can visit 2030 and come back, and it will not cost you anything. Then there's also the law of attraction. This law states that everything around you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you, right? So whatever thoughts preoccupies your mind eventually play out in your real life, become your eventual reality. And there's also the law of recognition. This is the one I love the most about the vision board. This is one of the laws that is activated whenever when you activate the vision board. What happens is that you start to recognize everything. So the law of recognition states that everything you need is already available, already around you, only awaiting your recognition. So one thing that vision board does is that it awakens your sense of awareness. Oh my goodness. You start seeing things differently from the way you were seeing them before. The thing has been there all along. Haven't you noticed that when you start using a particular brand of car, or somebody close to you starts using particular brand of car, you start seeing the car everywhere. The cars have been there all along. But because now you have a point of reference, you can identify them quickly. You see, the mind, there's what we call the RAS, reticular activating system. It's the reason why we don't run mental, we don't run mad, because it filters every information. It does not process every information at the same time. Once your RAS becomes faulty, once your reticular activating system becomes faulty, you run mental because it's trying to process all the information at the same time. So your mind has a filter that filters information and only help you to process the one that is important. And the way to help the mind to recognize what is important to you is through your vision board. Is somebody getting this at all? So this is so powerful. This is so powerful. All right. So then after writing your goals, you want to commit them to God. For those of you who don't believe in God or whatever, I can't really help you. I know that the best of plans do fail. Life will cost you more than you planned. But even if you don't know what tomorrow holds, you should know the person who holds tomorrow. And that's why the God factor cannot be underestimated under any circumstance. So there's a part of the scripture that I love a lot. Proverbs 16, verse 3. It says, commit thy plans unto God, and thy thoughts shall be established. Right? So prayer aligns your intention with divine direction. So if you have things like this, you have something to really war with, something to pray about. All right. I've seen people conceive their own children using this vision board. If it can work for animals, my people, it will work for you. So some goals also require meditation, deep meditation for that matter. And so as you continue to work on your vision board, even after today, you'll be amazed at the amazing things that will begin to happen to you. So final instructions before I get into question and answer and give you my final opportunity. Please watch out for this final opportunity because that's the reason why I kept it till this moment. If you miss it, I can't help you. Number one is write your goals clearly. Write it clearly. It must be clear at least to you. Number two, identify your primary goal. Like I told you, your seductive goal is your primary goal. The goal that once achieved drives all other goals. Number three, build your vision board around those goals. Okay. Number four, keep it visible. Put it where you see it regularly. Put it where you go regularly. Okay. Put it where you will see it regularly. Your phone, your mirror, your walls, and all of that. Then speak it consistently. This is so important. There's power in the words that you speak. Okay. When you attend the Earn to Own challenge, we have an affirmation that we speak, that we declare. And those of us who have entered some realms around financially, that you began to draw those type of resources because of this affirmation. It's very powerful, very potent. I can tell you this, that it works. Anybody who has been saying it and doing the things I tell them, they see the result. If you're not doing it and you're not seeing result, you are not doing it. I can tell you that one for free. And then number six, act in alignment with your goals, with your vision board. I'll tell you a story. Well, let me leave that because of our time. And then act in alignment. That was why I told you earlier that you should have a routine. You see, the secret of success of great people is in their daily routine. What do you do daily? What you do daily is what determines what you accomplish over time. All right. So act in alignment. So set up routine. The structure, what brought you here, can't take you to the next phase. So you have to redesign your schedule. All right. I showed a friend of mine, I showed him my calendar. I showed him my calendar. And he said, what? So how would I have time for nonsensical conversation? I don't have that time. I don't have time for gossip. I don't have time for all those things. I'm busy. I focus. I have something that I'm pursuing. And there are things I must do daily to make it come to pass. Because of a particular skill I intend to develop this year, I made it a point of duty that I must listen to at least 1 hour video or training on that particular matter. I enrolled in a coaching program for a whole year. If I tell you the amount, some of you here, I'm not charging anything here. If I tell you how much I paid, you'll be amazed. All right? You invest in yourself. Okay? Act in alignment. Don't indulge in self-sabotage. Don't be the enemy of your own progress. All right? 75 to 80% of the result you will need only depend on you. The remaining 20% is devil. If you can take care of the 80%, the devil is small. We'll deal with it in prayer. And that's why you now do this number 7, commit it to God. That's why we pray, we fast, we declare, and all of those things. That's why we do all of those other things. All right? So that is the end of the discussion. So you can screen grab this. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel link. You just look for this thing, and then you can follow me also on TikTok. You follow me on LinkedIn. And then you can reach my team on any of those numbers. All right. You want to do anything with us, with me, you want to join my Inner Circle membership, or you want to, whatever it is, you want to do business with us, just reach those numbers. That is how to get in touch with me. If you have done that, congratulations. If you have not, I can't help you right now. I want to go into the next offer, the opportunity I have for you. I hope you are ready for it. All right. So now, by the grace of God, I have done all sorts of businesses in my life. And like you heard me when I shared about my profile, I shared a bit about my businesses and the things I do. One of the things I found out along the line was the importance of developing digital skills. And this is so powerful, so powerful. So if you want to learn how to own your own digital business without creating one, I know what it means to create digital content and create products and create services. I have courses that I've created myself, and I know how challenging, how demanding it is. You need to hire this, hire that, you need to pay this salary and all of that. So it's a lot of work. But this is something that you don't need to create, but you will own it. And the way to own it is to just subscribe. So there's a link that will be shared in the group right now. If you want to own your own digital business, right? Um, then this is what I would recommend. I'm not the founder of this platform, and I need to tell you this. It's called Digital Boss Academy. If you are looking to start something that will be producing income, you pay for this once for life, and you can continue to milk it for life. And one thing I'm going to do is I'll share with you, would anybody who registers and communicate with my team, we would have a session that I'm going to have with you, just a private session, and I'll tell you exactly how I'm doing mine and how you can do likewise. And this can be giving you up to between $5,000 and $10,000 every month, right? And the program itself, currently, there's a new year offer by the platform. Everything you need to learn about digital business is you learn it there. Everything is what you are paying for, but they give you the opportunity to also sell it. So it's called master resale rights, and it's phenomenal. So there's the volume one, volume two, volume three. The volume three, when you buy volume one, you will not have access to volume two or volume three. When you buy volume two, you have volume one and volume two. When you buy volume three, you have everything, right? And the reason why this is important is because it is only this time that you will see for 278. It will become $444. So wherever you are in the world, particularly if you are in the US, you are in the diaspora, I recommend this heavily. Why this so important? Because I personally, I specifically bought this because it becomes a tool for me to learn skills and develop capacity, right? But I realized that what part of the thing that now came with it is that you can then sell it to other people as well. And so if you buy this now, I get 85% commission. Now, if you buy yours and then you sell anywhere you sell, you also get 85% commission, and the company pays it to you directly. So I don't even need to be aware. All right. So I've paid for mine since last year, and I've made a lot of money. I can't lie to you about that. Okay. So you want to take advantage of that. It will be of tremendous value to you. So you want to learn everything digital, skills, everything. The courses, everything is there. Loads and loads, and they're forever updating it. Right. So if you've never heard about it before, take this from me. It's is phenomenally a huge value to you, because even if I paid for it just to go and learn, is more than valuable, much less than that I can now resell it. So if you are not interested in reselling it, but just want to learn digital skills, this is also going to help you. And then, of course, you have the digital boss code. If you want to learn AI skills, which is one of the major things that's changing the world. Today now, AI is disrupting even software development. There are AI that can help you develop apps, develop all sorts of things today. You will learn a lot from that. And then if you want to be a part of my inner circle membership, then this is for you. You will need someone like me to be your mentor, your coach, whether it's in business or career. We touch on those six compartments of life that I spoke about. I'm very particular about that. Your success spiritually, your success emotionally, mentally, relationally matters a lot to me. And of course, your business success, your career success is important to me. And whatever help we can render, we do. And by the grace of God, we are seeing progress. If you commit to it, I'm committed. If you are committed, we'll produce results. These are some of the value that you get if you enroll in the program. Direct contact with me. You have my US line, my Nigerian line. You have 1 hour personal consultation with me every single month based on your own schedule, right? So if you don't book, there's nothing. But if you book, I'm available for you. And it's a 1 year program, right? Then there's quarterly. It's not actually quarterly. This year we're having thrice. We're having group coaching session thrice. The next one will be in June. So this today, for example, is supposed to be our group coaching program, and it is originally meant for our inner circle member. We only extended it to everybody so that you have a taste of what we experience internally when you join us. Then apart from that, we can have one-on-one. And the reason why the one-on-one is so important is because sometimes you have generic information that you have shared, and some people don't know exactly how to customize for their own use. So that's why having a coach is very, very important. By the way, I also have coaches. I have mentors myself. So every coach needs a coach. Every pastor needs a pastor. Every mentor needs a mentor. So I'm the direct beneficiary of mentorship and coaches. And I've enrolled for different programs and all of that. That's why I am who I am today, right? In fact, I'm not charging anything close to what I'm paying other coaches and mentors. That's the plain truth. I'm not charging anything close to it. And not because I don't have value for myself, but because I believe more in the value, the impact. I want to see you succeed much more than this. Again, I said to someone recently, I said, this is actually a filter. I don't have time for everybody. I just want to make sure that whoever I'm giving my time to, um, they value that time. And that's why this amount is there. So it's $1,000 for a whole year. Someone said to me, one of my friends, he said, I should mentor him in real estate. And I said, the cheapest way to do it is just enroll in the inner circle, right? It's $1,000. It's nothing compared to the value you're going to derive. There's a cost of doing something and there's a cost of not doing it. The challenge is that you can measure the cost of doing it, but you can't measure the cost of not doing it. And that's where people miss it. If you never attended this program, for example, you would never have known what you missed. All right. Then there's access to global business collaborations, loads and loads of opportunities. And then, of course, global investment deal flow. By the way, you already know we have operations in Africa. We also have operations in the US. And all of the opportunity that comes are the things that will extend to you by being a member of the inner circle. And of course, 50% discount on all paid classes. So whenever we have any paid class, you have this 50% discount. Okay. To subscribe, all you need to do is just send inner circle, send it to this number by WhatsApp. Send inner circle to this number and they'll send you the details. I'm sure that the link also, if it's available, will be dropping the, but this is what you should do. Just send the link, just send inner circle to this number on WhatsApp and they'll guide you on how to register. You can negotiate, discuss plans, payment plans, and all of that. And they can look at what works or what can work for you. Okay. And then finally, I believe it's final. It's not final. Okay. So my partner, a business partner, and myself um, pre-launched this book last year, October, and it's a phenomenal book. In fact, this is the copy of the book. Phenomenal book. Um, and I want to encourage every one of you listening to me right now to order a copy for yourselves and get as many copies to give to others. And you can even resell to other people. So let me quickly run through a few things. We are currently in the pre-order season. Um, so from next month, we'll start shipping. For those of you who have already pre-ordered, congratulations. I congratulate you very deeply from my heart. And I want to thank you for making that decision. And when you read the book, I'm sure that you will derive significant value from it. So do not, sorry, please. You derive significant value from it. Let me also mention here that that book has 27 chapters, and the book, we wrote it to address if you are a developer, you have bought land, you have bought houses before, you are abroad, you have houses, you have properties in Nigeria, and you don't know what to do with it, or you want to do cross-country in real estate investment. The book is based on both America and Nigeria. So the experiences we downloaded in the book it's not theory, it's practical. We shared quite a lot, and the book is broken into 5 different sections. Phenomenal book. I would recommend you get a copy for yourself. And much more importantly, if you want to save a lot more, then you want to buy more copies. So we have like 4 different options if you're interested in the book. The first one is the tier one. This one goes for $30 a copy. If you are ordering for 1 to 9 copies, all right, you pay $30 per copy, and that's 45,000 naira per copy in Nigerian naira. All right. Now, what do you get when you subscribe for this? You get exclusive learning community. You get access into the exclusive learning community. It's the Life Page Real Estate Academy. So we've packaged all sorts of courses. So anybody who bought this book or who pre-orders this book will get free access into that. So the value of that itself is actually $100 and 150,000 naira. So then we're going on a global tour, and we're taking this book as we call it Blah Masterclass, and going on the global tour. So we'll be in different parts of Nigeria, different parts of Africa, and different parts of Europe and America, going on tour with this. And then for those who buy 1 to 9 copies, you get regular tickets into that program. And so the additional value you are getting is about $100 extra, even though you are paying just $30 to get a copy of that book. Tier 2 is if you are ordering 10 copies to 99 copies, all right? Instead of paying $30, you pay $25 per copy. Now, let me say something here. This is so important. anybody who is buying this, you have opportunity to, you can resell it, you can give it out, you can resell it, you can buy and give, you can buy and resell. Because eventually when we stop the pre-order, the market price will be not less than double of what we are, almost double of what we're selling it, right? What the pre-order price is right now. So you can then sell it, all right, or resell it, or even gift it out. So what do you get? You get exclusive learning community, just like I said earlier, everything that can help you make wise, informed decisions as far as real estate investment is concerned globally, particularly US and Nigeria, is captured in that book. You get access to that community, and then you get financial freedom course. You get it for that's valued at $247. You get that also as part of the package, but you need to have ordered this number of copies. So all you need to do to qualify for this is just 10 copies, right? And then you pay $25 per copy instead of just buying one. The total additional value you get is $347 or 558,000 naira. That's a whole lot of value. And then if you buy 100 copies to $999, these are the other things you get. Because of our time, I don't want to dwell too much on this because I can get into the practical session. So you can get this. We have $594. So this one, you get it at $22 a piece, right? If you are buying 100 copies or more, right? This book is printed in the United States, all right? So, and wherever you are in the world, we'll be shipping it to you, right? From wherever you are. So no matter the quantity you order for, okay? And if you are ordering for 1,000 copies or more, you get it at $20 a copy, right? So, so that's pretty much and there's a lot of value. So everything I've said here that is written down here, please, you can screen grab it. That is the value you get because you order. And then once you show us the proof, you get all these other things that we have talked about in addition. We have fractional ownership in America. You are interested in taking advantage. If you live in Nigeria and you want to invest in Naira and earn in US dollars and earn rental income for life, then this is something you want to take advantage of. The wait list link will be dropped. We'll have a specialized meeting. It starts from $10,000 a slot. You can buy 2 slots, you can buy 3 slots, you can even buy a whole house if that's what you want. All right. So, and the opportunity is still there. If you have children you want to send to school to study abroad, then it's better you start preparing for what will fund that education in dollars, because changing naira to dollar is no be yam, my people, no be yam. Yeah, so you want to do that type of investment. Again, like I said earlier, I'm into real estate in Nigeria, and of course in the US now. In the US, we do more of fractional ownership. In Nigeria, we do more of we do housing development, we do land subdivision. So we buy large acreage and all of that. So Nigeria currently has 923,768 square kilometers of land. The question you'll be asking yourself is how many square meters are registered in your name? So by subscribing to any of our offers, we have different locations in Lagos, Ogun, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. But right now we have some offers in each of those locations. Abuja right now we have a very, very special offer called the Ashford County in Gogolada, Abuja. Is property already has global CFO, and it comes a full package, and everything that I'm talking here is also part of the benefits you get when you order. That will be the end of it. If you have any question you want to ask, the link will be dropped. Just fill the form, complete the form, and my team will reach out to you. Thank you so much. And if you need to book any appointment, maybe because you are ordering or something, then we'll have the opportunity. And then if you have missed out on the Earn to Own challenge that I announced earlier, you don't want to miss it for any reason, please take advantage of it. Thank you. So let me go into the practical and wrap up now. Thank you for staying this long. I deeply appreciate your time and your patience. Let me share I just want to show you I've done the illustration early enough before coming on this platform. So just show me if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Good. So this is an example of a vision board, and I'm not putting any image at all. I left it blank. So you put 2026 in the middle, right? This is your vision 2026. And then your spiritual health goal can be somewhere here. This, right? You get a clip, you clip each one. And then your mental, emotional health can be somewhere here. These two. And then this one can be your body. And then you can pick this one for your business or relationship. and pick one. So you label it that way. Look for the relevant pictures and arrange it in that manner. Make sure it is not cluttered, but make sure it is clear and simple so that there's no ambiguity. The same thing you would do for your next vision board, 2030. Some of us may say, oh, 2030 is very far. When was COVID? When did we have COVID? Was that not just almost 6 years ago now? 2020. Before you say Jack Robbins, another 2030 is already here. And there's a lot of revolution that is taking place all over the world. You don't want to be left behind. Listen, there's a law called the law of time perspective. That law states that everything people will take into cognizance, will take long-term decisions, or will take 30, 20, 30 years, 20, 30 years into the decision they take today, they always outperform the rest who just think short term. So there's a place for short-term planning, but there's also a place for long-term planning, mid-term and long-term planning. And this is one of the things that will help you. So I just created that frame just so that we have a sense of what we are talking about. You've already seen some samples in some of the things I shared earlier, and I hope that helps. Let me now take questions as we wrap it all up. Thank you very much. Do we have questions? Questions? Okay, so because of our time, I will not do more than 20. I will not do more than 19 minutes to answer questions. So I won't do more than 19 minutes to answer questions. So wherever we stop, that's where it will end. So let me start with Mr. Tunde Akondik. I actually would have loved if you type your questions, but because I know I don't want chorus answers, that's why. And please, if I don't get your questions, I actually would prefer written questions, not vocalized questions, because we're quite many here. And what happens typically when you start with, excuse me, when you start with verbalized question is that everybody start, people who didn't have questions before will ask questions afterward. So let me start with the written questions. Do you have a course on network marketing business? Well, if you attend the Realtor Mentoring Program, you have a shade of that, but it's tied to real estate. And that's what I can say. Do you have, thank you, Tonia, yeah. Is it necessary to have an accountability partner? Oh, absolutely. That's part of the reason why joining an inner circle, a mentorship platform like mine, is part of accountability. So what I typically do with my friends, my guys, again, once you register as a member of the inner circle, I must mention this: your spouse is also part of the package, right? So I can have session with you and your spouse and all of that. So it also includes your spouse, all right? So anything that you benefit from, your spouse also benefit from it. Is updates. So alpha, between the last time we discussed and now, alpha we gone. We discuss that, and then whatever adjustment. Sometimes people experience disappointment, setbacks, here and there. But when we meet, I say no, it's normal. All right. Before we jumped on this call, before everybody joined, one of my friends on the inner circle also made a statement. He mentioned about the challenge, and then said, but it reminds him of the fact that it is proof that you are alive, right? If you are not alive, you will not have any challenge, right? Life will be a straight graph because there will be nothing, your heart will not beat anymore. And so it will be a straight graph. There will be no more challenge. But the proof that you are still alive is that there will be challenges, there will be things that will drag you here and there, and they are all building capacity inside of you. Okay. Hope we are going to get the replay of this program. If you register for the Earn to Own Challenge, you automatically get it. If you register to become a member of the Inner Circle membership, then automatically you get the replay. So that's the only way to get the replay, by the way. So I needed to mention that. How much is the membership of the Inner Circle? It's $1,000. but you can reach out to my team and then they will explain to you whatever plan and or structure they can create for you. They will reach out to you. So just dial +1 470 708 4107. +1 470 708 4107. Okay. Hope we are going to, okay, I've already answered that question. My question is on RMP. I was told it's a self-paced program. Is it a recorded mentorship program or is it live one-on-one training? So it's a pre-recorded program and it's a blast. And then there's also a bi-monthly. So every 2 weeks we have a group coaching call with everybody who has gone through that program, and then all the opportunities that are exposed to it. So it is the group coaching one that is live session. Mrs. Adonola, please touch on how to influence team members to buy into your vision if their contribution will be required in achieving your career goal as a supervisor or manager. Phenomenal question. Very great question. Because you see, one of the things I've come to realize is that sometimes it's easy for you to pursue things on your own because you know what's at stake. But because a lot of people around you sometimes do not know what's at stake, they are not able. So it's usually difficult to institutionalize certain types of vision. So this is the way I do it. And this is what I recommend for every leader on this call. You must describe very clearly what is in it for them. What will go wrong if we don't participate in this? What will go wrong and what will go right? You must describe it. You must paint the picture, right? I do that even in my family, even with my children. So things like if you don't do well in school, that bicycle you will not get it. That vacation you will not go. Will leave you behind. Those type of things as a way. So when people know what they can lose and what they can gain, because see, people really don't follow people; they follow the vision, and it is not yet a vision until it can describe what is in it for them. Okay, so that's what I believe can help you in motivating or in helping your team to align with that vision. Let them see what is in it for them. So incentives, rewards, and of course, it's a question of carrot and sticks. Don't just display carrots alone. Also display what can go wrong. That's why organizations have policies, penalties and stuff like that. So I believe that that's one thing that can help. Mr. Lushola Kayode is asking, can you speak again about the own? Okay, it's not own to earn, it's earn to own challenge. Yes, the earn to own challenge is your 6-day ultimate guide to financial freedom. So if you currently are earning an income, whether as a salary or as a contractor or as an entrepreneur, whatever, and you want to increase that income, then that's the program you have to attend. Then if you are earning already, but you want to be able to turn that income into assets that will be generating income for you passively, then that program is also for you. Why is this so important? Because if you don't find a way to make money while asleep, you will work till you die. And whether we like it or not, none of us will be able to work forever. So that program is being well structured, organized for this purpose. I know this because of the experience I've had. I've had, you know, you don't know a general by their success alone. You know them by their scars. One of the reasons why it is easy for me now to empathize even with other people is because of things I've been through, right? You can have the best of intention and things will still not go exactly as planned, right? And it also reveals a lot about you. Challenges. I don't know why I'm talking about crisis and challenges here, but maybe just for somebody. Challenges and crises reveals three kinds of people in your life. It reveals you to you. You will know how much of capacity you have built, right? Number two, it reveals your friends. There are people that I will never forget in my life. Can never forget. Why? Because the challenges in my life revealed them. And number three, it will reveal your enemies or frenemies. And so challenges are necessary, and it was what is part of the making of the man, part of making of the woman also. Right. So I hope I helped you on that. So if you're interested in being a part of that, you get everything. This replay is one of them. There are many other benefits. once you register, you get the replay. That's one I show you on that one. Um, is it okay to register more than one person for RMP training? Each person should register. Yes, why not? They can register. I just registered two of my staff. Why not? They can. They can. They can. Oh, Mr. Tunde Akonde. Now I remember your face. Now I remember. I remember you. I remember you. And big congratulations again on your 60th birthday, sir. I celebrate you. Um, Yes, it is pre-recorded. Yes, Mr. Alex. Because of my schedule, I mean, it used to be a cohort, and then I do it 6 weeks like that before. But the team, the board and management decided that because of the schedule and the scale of what I'm handling and things I'm doing, people like to have me personally. So, but again, I'm not the only one that can facilitate. I have a business partner also who is equally, in fact, is I think is smarter than myself. He would not agree, but I think he's smarter than myself. So we're equally doing amazing work. And we have some amazing managers also in the organization who are also doing some phenomenal work also behind the scene. Many of the things that I do that people are saying I'm shining, I'm doing good. Now people they support me. All this design where you see, all the things I display here, not be me do amo, now somebody do amo. And so please help me celebrate my team because without them, honestly, I don't know. And these are people that I cannot forget. Some of them have been working with me 10 years, 13 years, some of them 8 years, some of them 7 years, some of them 9 years, some of them 5 years. In fact, one will be 6 years this next 2 months or so. So people have been working with me, and this is the same thing I'm doing with them. And I'm glad that some of them are even on this call as well. How can we differentiate between pursuing big goals and unrealistic goals? So the way to identify an unrealistic goal is when you are still holding onto old strategy, using old strategy to try to deliver a new result is unrealistic. Okay. So I gave an illustration earlier that in the past, to embark on overseas trips, you have to travel by sea, and that took weeks and months for some places. But in order to be able to cover such trips in shorter time, in few hours, a new strategy had to be invented. In this case, it was an aircraft. So every time you are using old strategy to try to achieve a big goal or a big result, that is being unrealistic. So a goal becomes unrealistic when you are holding on to old strategy. What brought you here can't take you further. So you have to match your strategy with the goal. Does that make sense? What are the advantages of RMP training? Amazing. I already mentioned that earlier on. Um, you There's a lot. Time won't permit me to go into all that. I already explained that because of our time. So you get world-class training. I tell you the truth, many of the people, by the grace of God, some of the people who are doing great things in the industry have gone through this program, right? They've gone through this program. I know so because of experience, right? And it is later. If I remembered a year ago or 2 years ago, I was told a gentleman was waiting for me in our reception area in our Lagos office. And then the guy came and said to me that that's that's all the things I thought that's what they are doing now and all of that, and doing phenomenally well. Many of them like that. Some of them came into the industry creatively, different ways, and all of that. So let me say something about real estate very briefly. There are 7 ways actually you can play in the real estate space, but I'll mention 4 principal ways that you can play. You can play as a developer. And this is by far the most glamorous way by which people play in the real estate space, right? Everybody wants to be a developer, but it comes with its own unique challenges that not many people are familiar or aware or prepared for. Then you can play as a regulator. And so by way of, collaborating with government agencies and government parastatals, you can play as a regulator. And there's a lot of money to be made there too. So policy making, regulations, trainings and stuff like that. These are things you can do. Then you can play as an investor. All of us must be an investor, by the way, if you want to create wealth. Okay, so that's one part. And then the fourth way, which in my opinion is by far the cheapest and the fastest way to play in the real estate space is to play as a realtor or real estate agent or whatever nomenclature you want to give it. And why is that so? Even if you have all the money in this world and you are ready to start your real estate development project, you still need to sell it. You still need to push it, right? So you need market intelligence. You need understanding of the route to market, right? And that's one thing you get when you become a realtor. So even if your dream, your goal is to become a developer someday, you want to start from the front end, then you backward integrate into actual development later on. And some of us who are now into development started out that way. And it's the understanding of how the market works that we have brought into development today. So I strongly recommend it to you, even if you are already developing or you intend to go into development. Uh, is it important to have a picture of oneself on the vision board? Why not? Some people recommend that you can cut the head of somebody that is doing the wedding and put your own picture there. Yeah, you can put your own, cut your head and put it there and all of that. But me, I don't need to put my head there. Once I see, because I want things to be well with other people. So I don't have a problem if I see the picture of somebody. I just know that this is the vision of my own life. What is a dream for this? What is a testimony for this person is my own vision. That's the way I roll, and it has helped me significantly. Do you have a course on unemployed people who want to consolidate their skills? Just sign up for the DBA DBC program as I talked about earlier. It will tremendously bless you. I'm telling you the truth. Um, uh, for the end-to-own registration details, everything is in the chat box. That program, if you miss it, I can't help you, honestly. If you want to create wealth or you have created wealth, you want to retain it, there are things I learned. Let me tell you a story. By the time I was like 26, 27, I was already a multi-millionaire, but I soon went broke. And one of the things I did not know then was that any dummy can make money. Any fool can make money. It doesn't take much to make money. It takes, once you solve problems for people, you add value, you make money, right? But to retain and sustain it was a different skill altogether. And that was one thing I lacked at the time. And, it's better to be poor, hoping to be rich than to be rich and be poor again. So I've been there before. And all the things I learned were the things I documented in my first two books, Write Your Financial Story, um, How to Cure Economic Insufficiency. Phenomenal book. I wrote 12 hard lessons, 12 lessons I learned the hard way in that book. But if you read my Financial Freedom Master Guide, you would also glean a lot from that. Anyways, so those are the lessons I package into this program. So I know what it takes to make a lot of money. I think I have some good ideas and some wisdom, and that will work for you wherever you are in the world. And there's a way you have been trained and wired to make money that is not sustainable. It will not last, right? I will touch on all of that during the end-to-own challenge. It's going to be revolutionary. If you attend that program and you feel like it was a waste of your money, I will refund your money. That's how convinced, how confident I am about the program. You attend the program 6 days. By the time you are done by the third day, you just know that you have collected much more than your money. In fact, by the second day, you already collected your money. Okay. Please, how can I practically differentiate short-term goals from long-term goals? Short-term goals are typically within 12 calendar months. Long-term goals are 5 years and above. But it also varies because really long-term goals now can stretch even to 100 years, 30 years, 50 years. In 2011, I developed a 30-year plan, and the first 10 years I completed in 2021, and I'm on the second 10 years right now. So I will call that 30-year goal a long-term goal. I will call the first 10 years goal long-term goal, but it's relative. Nations now are planning 100 years, 200 years, and all of that. But you have to plant trees where you will not eat the fruit. That's the long-term goal dimension, and long-term vision dimension. I hope I answer your question. Sir, can we ask for a topic so you educate us? I don't understand the question. Can we ask for a topic so you educate us? Why not? If you have any topic in mind, anything you feel that I should teach on, please feel free, reach out to my team, and then I may already have a program on that, and then we'll just come and share. Mr. Bayomi, how much is the digital course program you mentioned? I mentioned it earlier. There's the DBA. There's volume 3. It's normally $444, but right now it's going for $278. Thank you very much. It has been dropped in the chat box, so the question has been answered in the chat box. So, Mr. Bayom, look at that. You see it there. How can I tackle the challenge of difficulty in following a routine? You must be a creative person. Most creative people are not routine based. They don't like following routine. It takes discipline, and it takes recognizing that whatever it is you do, you see, greatness doesn't come by what you do in a day. It comes by what you do daily. Okay, it comes by what you do daily. So to tackle it, you need accountability. I recommend strong accountability, and then you need a strong why. You need strong accountability. You need strong why. Coaching will help you a great deal. If you know that you have to come and report yourself to your mentor, for example, your coach, you will behave yourself. You will work on the previous agreement. I don't take people serious when they don't work on tasks, when they don't implement, when they just pay lip service. I don't take them seriously. That's also part of the reason why I created the inner circle, because I've had lots of people like that where I spent time, hours upon weeks, months, years on, and then nothing changed because they were not acting on the things we were sharing, right? So accountability and then a strong why. Uh, yeah, the designer is good. That's my guy anytime, any day. Is it possible to have two seductive goals? Well, I'm not sure. I understand your question, but I still do not understand it fully. And the reason is because when you achieve a seductive goal, it drives all other goals. Now, the goal it is driving, the next goal it is driving becomes the seductive goal for the next one. So it's possible if you in that light. You are such an honest leader. Recognizing your team and acknowledging their effort and teamwork makes this ministry reach a multitude. Absolutely. Thank you, Cecilia. We're grateful to you all at Life Page. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for appreciating my people for me. They are the one helping my career, helping my ministry. Ba, 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 ba. How much? Yeah, our time is already fast spent, so I wouldn't want to go further than this. Jerry is asking, can I make, so please just reach out to that number and then they will help you. Any question we couldn't take today, please reach out to our official lines, plus 234 7087 plus 234 0708 797 0441, then plus 1 470 470 708 4107. Those are the numbers. You can reach them on WhatsApp, on whatever, and my team will be of tremendous value to you. Any help you need, please reach out to those numbers and you'll be glad you did. Please, that number is just WhatsApp only, no phone call, just WhatsApp only. Those numbers are WhatsApp only, and you'll be glad you did. If you register for the Earn to Own or Inner Circle, get ready. We'll send you the replay of this particular program. Yeah, and that'll be all for now. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.